Okay guys, a little bit of a push tonight. We were really working on this until the last second. We have been so busy here, you have no idea. And I just sat down about 4 o'clock just to check something in my lounge, and I woke up at 4:45. So that's old age for you. Very sad, but there we are. Laurie luckily didn't wake me up, because he often comes and says something and I wake up, but I didn't. I was asleep, the dogs were asleep next to me, and all was well. So we are here now, we are live, I hope. Everything seems to be all right. Abby's in situ next to Laurie, so she can hear what's going on.
Hello.
And oh, there she is shouting at you also. There she is saying hello to everybody. So we're going to get Abby live a bit tonight. I know she's going to like this, but we're going to get her to put her beautiful face in front of the screen for a couple of seconds so you can all say hello to her, because she does an awful lot of work. Everybody here has been, I cannot explain to you, to be honest, how busy it's been recently. Our 40th year, and we're 50% busier than we've ever been before, and sadly because of COVID and everything else, our donations are down, so I'm panicking slightly about money, not that much, but I'm always worried when our bank flow goes negative, so we're keeping a close eye on that. But we shall recover, even if we have to go out and have a kissing booth on Leatherhead High Street and let everybody come and kiss who they want to kiss to earn money. We'll do anything for money here.
And we're off the air.
Yeah. Laurie personally will do anything for money. I mean, you know, but he has to lock his girlfriend in the house so she doesn't know what's going on. But there we are. So we're live, guys. I haven't looked at any things yet. We're so far behind us. We did have a little bit of rain this afternoon, thank heavens. But I was speaking to 3 other people in Leatherhead. They didn't have any rain at all. But at least we got a tiny bit, but it was only for a few seconds, so not enough to make any difference. Animals, please. You know I'm going to say this again. I say it all the time. Put out shallow bowls of water if you're in the southeast of England particularly, or anywhere where it's really dry in the world. They really need it, and keep an eye open, because animals are coming in with dehydration, they're coming in with fly strike, and the way to see that actually is 2 ways. One is you're going to see a lot of flies flying around an animal, or B, they're going to have like a little, it's like couscous if you like, it's like a yellow couscous on a particular patch of their body where it's all fly eggs, if they haven't turned into maggots yet. So
that
keep your eyes open, guys.
Couscous for life.
Okay, so Laurie's never going to eat couscous again. I'm going to make you a special bowl of couscous later, Laurie, and I'll tell you afterwards whether it was real couscous or something else.
That's right.
So yeah, loads going on. I mean, it's never been so busy. It has been manic. I've been in a trustees meeting for about 4 hours this morning. So that's probably why I fell asleep this afternoon. It's all too much for me in this weather. It's very warm, it's very humid. And so if you're walking your dog's eyes, be very careful. Don't walk them if it's very hot, and certainly don't let them stay out in the sun and sunbathe, as my little puppy does. We have to keep bringing him in because he just lies in the sun. I'm sure he's trying to get a black light sky, but it's not going to happen, Toby. It's not going to happen. He's still my little cream dog, but he's actually bigger than Bobby now. Whether they'll come in tonight for a quick say hello, I have no idea. Who knows what's going to happen? We never know what's going to happen here. That's why we work at Wildlife Aid. So the volunteers have been going above and beyond, and when we had our trustees meeting this morning, there was a few comments. We were talking about certain people, and one person who was mentioned was Alice. She often is, not because we want to fire her, but Lou and I decided that next time we see Alice, we're both going to take a knee, because she's gone above and beyond. So Alice matters. That's what we're going to say. Alice matters. Alice, you've been a star. I think she's probably here somewhere. I know she's trying to deal with 2 call-outs at this very moment. We had a kestrel which was stuck in a water trough, and we've got a collapsed fox. So people are on their way to that right now. So it never stops, even if we're here. Laurie, it just means that Laurie and I can't go out for an hour. But if something really major happened, this screen would suddenly go blank if it was really exciting, and we'd be gone. So we've already had a £5 donation. Thank you very much for Lanny or Lucy. Fantastic. So you're welcome to the live stream. Laurie, any questions going on? We're talking about couscous, I can see already.
A lot of people are asking what couscous is, actually.
Oh, really?
How would you best describe couscous?
Disgusting, I describe it. My girlfriend makes it regularly and I refuse to eat it. It looks disgusting. It is disgusting. It's like a sort of, it's just, bleh. It's like
because
a very small version
cherry
of rice.
lattices.
It's like really short-grained rice.
Yeah, it is really.
It's sort of a Moroccan-style dish, I believe.
Yeah, everybody loves it apart from me, but you know, just give me a cherry lattice and I'm happy. I survive on cherry lattices and Diet Coke. That's how the cookie crumbles, guys.
If there's anyone who works at Waitrose here, he would be up for a sponsorship of cherry lattices. He gets through so many. his freezer and fridge are just full of them, and we always have to camp out outside Waitrose every morning so that he can get his he can clean them out.
And my girlfriend bought 5 this morning, Laurie, so that will last me for at least a day. So we'll
I don't want to know how much sugar's in one of those.
Oh no, it's what keeps me going. Sugar and Diet Coke, that's it. And the odd cigarette, but mainly electronic cigarettes now, which is very depressing, but never mind. So any questions, anything going on?
We've had a few questions in, actually. So we'll just start off with a couple of questions, and then we'll go on to our centre update. So what's been happening over the past couple of weeks here at the centre. And then we've got, as before, we do have a video coming up as well from the first series of SOS. This one's actually quite a good one. It's one of Simon's first ever bird in warehouse rescues. So it's slightly different on that one.
So what you're trying to say is I did have hair.
Yes, you did.
I was probably dressed very strangely compared to how I dress now.
No, it was quite similar, but you definitely had a lot more hair, and you were climbing the side of walls.
I've been climbing up the walls for 40 years, Laurie. It's really because I work with you so much. It's enough to make anybody climb up a wall.
I just drive you up the wall.
It's true. That's why the car's dented, isn't it? He actually got the car and drove the car up the wall. Didn't do it any good at all. Right, guys. So you're going to show. When are you going to show this video? Is this now? This video clip?
Well, we'll show that in a bit. We'll just start with a couple of questions first. So, on the topic of the car, UE has asked, are both of you well after the car crash?
Yeah, well, Laurie's worse off than I am. We're both visiting an osteopath with regular monotony at the moment because Laurie's really bad. Of course, I'm perfect as always. It's just that my neck doesn't work and my arm doesn't work. That's probably through all the deers I've sort of ridden across gardens in the past and all the rally driving I used to do in the good old days. So my neck's pretty shattered. I mean, I can just hear it clunk all the time and it hurts all the time, but it's amazing what pain medication does for you. It's brilliant. So yeah, so my neck's fine-ish fine. I'm going to have it checked every now and then because it's bad, but it's going to get bad because I get old. You know, I am old. I'm not as old as some people, but older than most, Laurie.
An interesting one for you, actually. Filthy Insurrectionist has asked, what do foxes smell like?
They've got a very distinctive smell. It's hard to tell. They smell musky, I suppose. Not as musky as badgers, but it's a musky type of smell. All I can ever remember when somebody says what do foxes smell like, I can always remember the smell of fox poo, which is disgusting, but the smell of badger poo is even worse. And if you're driving a badger home and it's in a cage and it's in the car and we're driving along, we have to open all the windows and just nearly die all the time. It's absolutely horrendous. So there we are. Now there's somebody knocking on the door, Laurie.
Abby, can you just go and quickly check the door? Abby's just going to go and check on that one.
They've gone away again.
Okay.
It's probably because I waved my shotgun at them and they walked away. Oh no, he's just walking out the drive, Abby. I don't know, he dropped something off.
A few people are asking, what's a cherry lattice?
A cherry lattice is the most amazing pastry. It's wonderful. We just had a delivery from Amazon. God, I wish I owned Amazon. Think how wealthy I'd be. I wish he'd sponsor us. If anybody knows Jeff Bezos, or if anybody knows the owner of Facebook, if you can get us in there just for a quick meeting, we could buy the new centre with their petty cash. In fact, not even their petty cash, probably their loose change. So wealthy guys, very hard to get money out of wealthy people, but it's the only way we're going to get the new centre built. But going back to cherry lattice, I would, if I ever won the lottery, probably buy a cherry lattice factory, I think. But then I'd probably get very sick and very fat very quickly. So there we are. Let's get back on the topic, Laurie.
Yeah, on the same note, actually, Flitterby0704 has just asked, how does fox poo compare with mother duck poo? Bearing in mind our recent rescue video where the mother duck left, shall we leave it as a present on the floor after we rescued her?
That's been out there, hasn't it? And
that is out.
Were we going to ask a question on that? I'm so muddled of what we're supposed to be doing. Laurie does give me a sheet of paper, but I very seldom read it. Anything Laurie does, I tend to ignore, to be honest. No, fox. Yeah, badger poo smells quite strong. Not as unpleasant as fox or badger poo. Duck poo sort of its own special smell. But when it's on somebody's pristine wooden floor, which was magnificent, and we just picked this duck up and put it in the cage, and as we do that, it projectile poos all over her floor. And Laurie and I felt so guilty that we had to clean up all the poo. She told us not to. The lady said don't bother, but it did stink a bit. But no, we often on these rescues we do get the odd mishap when something goes to our house. We always do offer to clean it up. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But yes, so we are not only experienced rescuers, but experienced cleaners. That's Laurie's Corey really. She should really be a cleaner. That'd be good. And you know, cleaner in films has a totally different meaning. So perhaps we shouldn't go into that either, Laurie. Really.
I just clean up after your mess.
We'll start our own cleaning company, shall we, Laurie? We'll do cleaning. Right, keep going, Laurie.
Will's channel of boring videos, which sounds an interesting channel actually, has asked, have you ever had a stone curl you at the centre? I don't recall a curl you, certainly in the time that I've been here, but...
Heavens only knows. I mean, I'm terrible really. I've been rescuing wildlife for 40 years. Everybody says, oh, what's that bird or what's that animal, whatever. And to be honest, when I'm on a rescue, it doesn't matter what the bird or the animal is, all I'm going to do is rescue it. I don't care what it is, I will rescue it. So I'm not very good on my species sometimes. I mean, it's taken me 40 years to know the difference between a kestrel and a sparrowhawk. But I do get there in the end. But no, I don't think we have. Having said that, we could have done. We've had various birds over the years which we haven't recognised straight away, and we've had to do a lot of research to find out what they are. Heavens a doll, we just had $100 in here, 100 euros in. So thank you very much. Oh, it's him again, isn't it? I am going to marry him one day. I am going to have to marry him. He's obviously so wealthy. Or he could adopt me as his grandfather, couldn't he? That's another way round.
For those of you who don't know, FXP1688 is better known as Sven, and he's someone that has been following and helping out on our live streams ever since we first started it, which was more than a year ago. So huge thank you for all your help, as always, Sven. It is absolutely incredible. I'm sorry Open Day was called off this year and you couldn't come down, but hopefully on the next one we'll see you again.
Well, we're going to do a special Open Day for Sven. If he gives us enough money, if he gives us $6.5 million, he can have his own personal Open Day. And I will personally not only give him lunch, I will cook him lunch.
Oh, seeing you trying to cook something will be hilarious.
It's probably going to be couscous, be careful.
So we've actually had quite a few donations since we've been on air. So as you said before, Lenny Lucy's donated €5 with "Finally I have time to watch your stream and donate for the foxes." Thank you very, very much. Pernilla Berg has donated 500 Swedish krona, so huge thank you there. Apes Art has donated £4.99. Thank you very much. And Adam Warner, who we may recognise as the husband of the person sat to my right, has donated £10. Has put "buy a fan for the hedgehogs."
It's getting better than it was, isn't it? He is going up slowly. I mean, I know the guy's incredibly wealthy. I mean, if you could see that really? Abby comes in every day with so much jewellery on, he's obviously spoiling it to pieces. So
yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right.
It's all lies.
It's all lies, John. It's all lies.
I'm not sure you can hear Abby, but she's fiercely refuting this.
No, I can hear it. I can hear her. So what else we've got going? So Wishlist is Amazon, as always, is there, guys. The only thing I would say, and I know it's very difficult for some people, everybody likes buying us product off the Wishlist, which is great. But things like dog food and cat food, for every tin you buy us from Amazon, because we get trade discounts at all these places when we buy sort of 3 tons at a time, we could actually buy 3 cans to your 1 can. So I know it's not as fun for you to give us money as opposed to product, but you know, we can often get massive discounts. We recently just put an appeal out to buy some heating mats for hedgehogs. Sounds a bit absurd this time of year buying heating mats for hedgehogs, but we're getting lots and lots of baby hedgehogs in. They're really small, and we have to be really careful with the heat. They have to be on a very regulated heat. We have to make sure it's okay. We've just bought 10 of those already. We started a fund, which Laurie I think is going to put up on the screen at some point during the evening, of how you can give to that. So we've raised enough money to buy 10, which we've already bought. They haven't arrived yet, but we've ordered them. And we're going to buy at least another 10 if we raise a bit more money. So, you know, we're always trying to raise money. It sounds so money pinching and so miserly that we're always asking for money. But the more money we get, actually, the more good, the more help we can give these animals. So, you know, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for me to be so mean. You know, nobody's really. I've only had one £5 donation to the Simon Cowell Barbados Fund, which is very depressing. I don't think that's even going to get me a taxi to the end of the drive. But never mind. So yeah, money does help us. Money is everything, and in COVID times, all charities are going to struggle. So yeah, think of your local charities. Don't all necessarily think of us, but if you don't, I should be very upset. But think of charities. Charities are going to struggle. So money really helps us and it keeps us going.
Yeah.
So off we go. Let's talk about something else other than money for a minute, shall we?
Just before we go on that last thing, we've had 2 more donations. Kim Anderson has given us £4.99. Thank you very, very much. And Len, I'm so sorry, I keep mucking that one up, has donated 300 Danish kroner and has put, "You're the best and give humans a good rep." Thank you very, very much. That's very kind of you.
Excellent, and we will teach Laurie how to pronounce names soon. We are going to send him to a special college so he can learn all the different names.
I am terrible at pronunciations.
Yeah.
I really, really am.
Laurie's pretty terrible at speaking, actually. You know, he has all these weird words which aren't at all English. They
Do you
come
mean like
from
bath
up north.
and path and grass?
Oh, path. How can you say path? It's so disgusting. Anyway, never mind.
There'll be northerners in the chat. They're on my side.
Yeah. Stick up for Laurie, guys, because I'll just knock him down every time.
Bart Smith, who's from Holland, has asked, "Did you have any more woodpeckers this year?" Because they did. We did, actually. We had a huge influx of woodpeckers this year, actually.
We had a huge influx of everything, really, Laurie, didn't we? I mean, everything, as I say, 50% bigger than ever before, which means our drug bills go up enormously, and I spend the whole day whinging at the vet saying, can they not make do with something else, or can they not get it donated? The trouble is everybody's asking for donations at the moment, and obviously companies are having to be really careful. So donations are quite light at the moment, but yeah, we had a load of animals in, and they all came in at once. There was this huge, it wasn't just a bit of a things arrived, there's an absolute explosion of animals early on in the year when we had the first really hot spell, and obviously with this hot spell as well now we're getting the youngsters in, or the juveniles in, who are just beginning to break away from their parents, and you know they're getting into trouble. And we've had 8 call-outs, Laurie, recently for young roe fawns, all with quite well, not life-threatening, you know, fatal injuries because they get hit by a car. So 8 in the last week or so. We've had to go out and dispatch them, which is really very sad indeed. You know, so if you're driving, you know, any time of day, anywhere where there could be wildlife, just slow down a tad, guys, because the one we went out to last, the lady actually hit it herself. She was in a terrible state. She didn't see it. It just came from nowhere. It's all very quick, and she just touched it, and it broke its leg all over the place. Very severe break, which is nothing you can do for that, to be honest, sadly.
A few more questions. Rebecca's asked, have you ever rescued a black swan or a baby black swan cygnet?
I've rescued both. The last black swan I had to give a big talking to, or was it? No, I've forgotten now.
No,
I know I've
you
rescued
released
black
a
swans,
goose. Yeah, you
I
released a goose, and that's when you told the black swan
got upset. But I have rescued black swans. In fact, I rescued a black swan at Cobham not many years ago, probably before Laurie's time. Laurie was probably still in nappies at the time. Actually, still in nappies now when I come to think about it. Anyway, off that. Yeah, a black swan, and it was a lovely little lake. It was all really nice, and I was wading out to get this black swan, which had got stuck in fishing line. And what they didn't tell me is about 5 foot out from the bank, it went from sort of 2 feet deep to 20 feet deep, and I disappeared. I did disappear trying to catch this swan. I got very wet, very cold, very quickly, but we got the swan. That's what it's all about. Luckily, I didn't have my phone in my pocket or the radio mic in my pocket at the time, so we were safe. We've had quite a few problems over the years with radio mics because we do go into water, things happen. We went out on one of our SOS trips. We went out with a guy who was sort of showing us what to do and how to do it. And we both had radio mics on, so you put the radio mic in your pocket, and we were canoeing down a river, and he forgot and got off his canoe and stepped in the river. That was the end of one mic, which was £500. And then, damn it, we gave him another mic, and about 5 minutes later he got off the boat again, and we all went, no! And that was the end of the other mic. So that's 2 mics in about 10 minutes. Very expensive hobby that was, but there we are.
Yeah, we haven't done that one since.
No, not recently.
A few people are asking, can we post the link to our Amazon wishlist in our YouTube video? So we will actually edit the script that does go out on there, so that we do have that in there. Thank you very much for the suggestion.
And you're going to send the hedgehog
map,
the hedgehog heat one as well. You're going to send, aren't you?
Yeah,
yes, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we're currently raising money. We need about £800 just to get some heat mats for our hedgehogs. Now that is actually vital. I know it's been very, very hot in the UK at the moment, but in the rooms we've got, they are highly temperature controlled. We need to make sure they've got heat from underneath. These are very specific heat pads that are attached to thermostats are a lot better for that. We are almost all the way there. We've got 89% of that at the moment. We only need £75 to hit the goal. So if anyone does want to help us out with that, please look in the chat. Abby's posted a link to the Just Giving campaign, and if you can help us out, that would be incredible.
But don't worry about going over the top, guys, because if we could buy 30, we would. We just put in there 20 as a number,
Yes,
but
yeah.
you know, we actually need more than that. So anything we can get will be really helpful. Otherwise, I'll have to get Laurie filling hot water bottles all night, and that would really, really upset him.
We actually have capacity here for up to 400 hedgehogs at any one point, and during the winter we get quite close to that figure. So
how many
there's
baby
a
hogs
lot
have we
of
got at
room
the
for
moment, Laurie?
expansion. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not sure.
I was
A
told,
lot.
I think it's near 100, which for this time of year is absurd. But these hedgehogs, luckily that we're getting in now, should be up to 600 grams before the winter, and so that they can go back out to the wild. Our big problem comes when we get the second brood hedgehogs, which is much later on in the year, and often, having said that, this year I'm not sure it's ever going to get cold again in this country, but if it gets cold they don't make it. If they don't get to 600 grams before they go into hibernation, they don't come out the other side of hibernation. So they're fine, they're feeding, they're 300 grams, they go to sleep, sadly they don't wake up the other side. So any hedgehogs you see towards the very end of the year that are under 500 grams, certainly give us a call and we'll talk about it. But you know, anything under that weight we take in, we overwinter. Now those hedgehogs are with us for about 5 months, which is a long time. I think it's a lot of days, and if you work it out that every hedgehog costs us about between £1 and £1.50 per day, that could be 400 hedgehogs times 150 times 150, and that's scary money, guys. And it's also about 15 or 20,000 cans of dog food. So we never have enough. We go through dog food not only for the hedgehogs, but we give it to the badgers, we give it to some of the corvids as well. So yeah, we always are using dog food like crazy. Perhaps we should start a couscous fund as well, Laurie.
Well, someone suggested we should make a rescue for me, because you're about to start a forest fire with all the burns you're giving me.
Well, no, this is, we've had enough forest fires around here recently. We had the big one at Chobham, we've had one at Horsell, we've had another one today, which luckily they dealt with very quickly. But forest fires or woodland fires down in the southeast have been really bad this year. People just don't think. They toss a cigarette butt out or whatever they do, but I mean they spread like wildfires is the understatement. They just take hold so quickly. When we had our fire back in 1996, that fire went from nothing you could see on the cameras, to an absolute raging furnace in less than 1 minute. So it just shows how quickly these fires take hold. And you think, although some wildlife can escape, and I think wildlife have a big instinct to get out when they can, some of the youngsters can't. So it does do a lot of damage. Luckily the habitat does recover from it, and sometimes for the better. Actually, it sometimes does a lot of good, but the animals, you get a lot of casualties from that. In fact, the roe deer which we had from the fire brigade that day, I saw a little video of it the other day. It's doing really well. They're out now, they're out by themselves. They still come in at night and feed or whatever, but all 3 of them are doing really well. So it's ours and the 2 that were already there. So they're doing well, so that's good. But no more forest fires. If you have a picnic and a barbecue, guide, don't always think the fire's gone out. Be really, really sure, put water on it, do anything to make sure that fire doesn't spread, because it takes one tiny spark which can suddenly ignite, and it can do it minutes later after you've left the scene. Be very careful, guys, please.
On that note, Mostly Saying has asked, were we involved with the recent fires at Chobham Common? Were any sort of wildlife rescue centres involved? Just basically going back to the last one at Thursley where we had that deer fawn.
Yeah, to be honest, although we always offer our help and we're free to help and we would help, the fire brigade don't let anybody in on there at all. When they're doing it, obviously they've got a lot of responsibility. They've got to keep themselves safe. They don't want to have to go chasing after some rampant rescuer. Imagine them trying to chase Laurie with his hair on fire across Chobham Common. It would be so embarrassing. Make great video, but it would be a bit embarrassing. So no, they
probably
don't
leave a better haircut.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it can't be as bad as it is now, Laurie, can it? Let's be honest. But no, so we offer our services. I'm sure if they needed us, they would call us. But really, we, like other wildlife hospitals around here, are the recipients of animals which they manage to get out of the fire. So yeah, we do our best, but I can understand why they don't want mad idiots in there trying to rescue animals when they're doing their job, which is more important.
Flutterby0704 is asked, do we have any pictures of the boats with the Wildlife Aid writing on? We haven't posted it yet, but here is a sneak peek. Here.
A sneak peek? We've got a sneak peek.
This is Simon in the boat. Simon in the boat with the Wildlife Aid writing on the side. That will be posted very soon, so thank you very much for everyone who's helped out on that. It does look good, though I'm not sure he's going to be rowing very far on the lawn. But
that's our new boat, what we just bought, isn't it, Laurie?
It is, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's a good boat for, small lakes, biggish ponds, whatever. Obviously, if we have a big rescue, say it was on the river, we have a much larger rib with an 8 horsepower motor, which is actually quite quick when it's up on the plane. We did a shot there. When we first bought that rib, it was quite funny. Jim said it was in the SOS days. So he said we need to get some shots of this boat. We need to see what's going on. He said, what I want you to do, I want you to take the boat out, gun it quite hard, and as you fly up the river on the boat, your hat flies off. So I always wear my Australian bush hat, which I love, and I've still got it, and always hope. Now my phone's ringing. It's Alice from WAF. I'm going to decline her. Abby, you might want to ring Alice, see what she wants.
Abby's just on the way up now.
So there we are. I was doing this and I kept gunning the boat and going up the river, and my hat would not come off. So Jim went up to a nearby fisherman and asked him if we could just borrow his rod and line for 10 minutes. So they put a hook in the back of my hat. They let me go up the river, and when they were ready, they just flicked back on the fishing line and my hat flew off at the back. And that's how we got that shot. So, television does lie, guys. Television definitely does lie. But it was quite amusing at the time. I got a very wet hat, and a lot of people were watching and clapping from the shoreline. So there we are.
Jules2323 has asked, how many people do we have employed here, and how many people are volunteers? So how many members of staff?
I'm really mean. We have 5 members of staff, that's all. We have a few quite permanent part-timers, but the majority of our staff, or not staff, the majority of the work here is done by 375 volunteers. That, sadly, because of the COVID situation, has been cut down quite dramatically over the last month. We're just opening up now to take in new volunteers, so if anybody wants to volunteer here, it's back on the website. Please put your name forward. Please come and do an induction course. Trouble is, induction courses can't be so many people now because of the social distancing, so it's not going to be as quick as that. But we always need people, so only 5 members of staff. Alice does the work of 572 people. Lou does the work of 372 people, and I do the work of me, which isn't very much really, but never mind.
So if you are in the area and want to volunteer, I'll stick a link down to the volunteering page in the chat. Please have a look, see what sort of roles are available and what's expected. And at the bottom there's a little form. If you do want to join us, please just fill in that, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
And to be honest, Laurie, as we both know, because we know this place so well, it's not only for animal help. That's obviously vital. But, we need people help in the office. Alice definitely needs people to help her do the bookwork and all this sort of thing. And we need receptionists. We need all sorts of other volunteers. So if you're really not keen on chopping things up and doing things like that, there are other jobs you can do. We need help fundraising. So much help. If you've got any skills, media skills, any skills at all. I mean, I'm 68 and I'm still trying to find a skill that's applicable. Laurie's much younger, and I know he will never find a skill that's applicable. But there again, he's expendable. He does all the rescues, which I think I might die now, so I send Laurie on those. Laurie, just while we're talking, I know this isn't really on thing, just ask Abby if everything's okay up there. Is that unusual for Alice to ring when we've got a live thing going on?
Yes,
everything all right?
I'm not sure yet. Abby isn't back in. As soon as that's done. Abby's just outside at the moment. So as soon as we know more, we'll know more.
Badger coming in from RSPCA. I'm having a note held up in front of me. Do we know if it's an adult or a youngster?
It's an adult.
It's an adult, okay. Okay, so we've got a badger on the way in from the RSPCA. It's an adult. What we'll do is put it in a deer shed, which we do anyway, whether we were doing this or not. We just give it 20 minutes to calm down, settle down before we did anything with it at all. But badgers, even if they're near to death, if you ever see a badger near to death on the road, please don't go and try and pick it up, because they get their strength and they're escapability actions from nowhere. They can be just about dead, but they will turn around and bite you. And if a badger bites you, you really know about it big time. You're likely to end up in hospital. So yeah, if you see one of those, but we will deal with that later on. We'll let it just settle down so it's not too panicky, and we'll go and check it later on. And if it looks particularly vicious, obviously I'll send Laurie in first, and if he doesn't get bitten, I'll follow him in at a safe distance.
On that note, let's get to a bit of an update on what's been happening here over the past couple of weeks. So we've had quite a lot of patients in. It's been incredibly busy.
Vets have been doing nothing, Laurie. They haven't.
1 a.m.
Vets have been sitting on their backsides doing nothing. Rita here,
That's
1
not
o'clock
true.
this morning. She was here 1 o'clock this morning. She wasn't really working. She was just trying to impress me, wasn't she? And what she didn't know is I was in bed fast asleep. But no, it's manic here. That everybody gives more than you could ever ask for of their efforts, to be honest. So, you know, to not only to the staff, but to the volunteers, but to everybody. You know, you do make the difference. You know, without you, it wouldn't be anything like it is today. Sadly, with some of the social media things, we've got a social media thing going on at the moment where somebody thinks we're terrible people. I suppose wherever you work, whatever you do, you're going to get the odd one who kicks off. And social media bad press is not good. We know we're absolutely above board. We know we do everything probably better than most people. You know, we're one of the largest wildlife centres, and we do care and we do work hard. But you get the odd person who sort of rather like getting the bit between the teeth. They really have a go at us, and it's sad because it takes our energy away from what we do, because we have to answer them, we have to deal with them, and you know, it's taking the energy from what we love doing best. So you know, if you're going to think of having a go with us, guys, please don't, because we honestly do care. And you know, Laurie's only been here a few years, I've been here for 40 years. You know, we wouldn't give up the time we do if we didn't care. We'd just be out in Barbados sunning ourselves. But as my Barbados fund, as I said earlier, is only stuck at £5, it's going to be a long time before I go there again.
So, what's been happening over the past couple of weeks? We've had a few patients, and you do have a list in front of you if you need it.
Laurie, I've been asleep for the last couple of weeks, you know that. I drop off. Well, you can go with this, because Laurie gives me all these things and all these notes. He actually prepared the list, so he knows exactly what's going on. And I do notice yet again, after the last YouTube we had, Laurie's still hogging the rescues. He still goes out without telling me, and I'm beginning to get very cross about it. You go, oh, I went and did that. Oh, I went up to Hyde Park. I did that rescue. Oh, I went over there and did that rescue. He doesn't tell me. Little devil sneaks off. I'm going to start to hide my car keys. That'll stop.
Can I just tell you, I called you 8 times for the Hyde Park Fox, and you didn't pick up once.
I was asleep, for God's sake. I'm old.
So the Hyde Park one, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. We got a call from a gentleman who lives near to Hyde Park, which is usually a little out of our area. There's usually other centres a bit closer, who had a fox sat on top of his fridge. Which was slightly unusual. He had called around a few other centres, but no one was working due to everything going on with COVID. Arrived on scene, and the fox was carrying behind a rather impressive collection of scotch and wine, which the gentleman was actually very kind about. He just said, put a towel down, we'll try and save as many as possible. Luckily, we did manage to remove all of those, and we were able to contain the fox and release it back into the garden. So that is a video that is coming very soon.
If there was any Chateau Lafite, Laurie, you should have put that in your pocket and brought it back for me. But never mind. I've just seen one thing here, somebody, and it's something Alice can come back on. Somebody's just asked whether we have the ability for people to work remotely and not have to come into the centre but work from home on things. I'm not quite sure of the answer. I know quite a lot of it has to be here because we have to talk people through it and they have to look at the books and all this sort of thing. But if we do have anything which can be done remotely, I'm sure Alice will type something about that on this stream somewhere later on. Obviously fundraising, anybody can do fundraising. I mean, if you were just to have one coffee morning a month or a year, who cares? If you had one coffee morning or a dinner party and just all got round the table and charged everybody a tenner for going, I mean, that's how we make money. It's lovely to make big hunks of money, but it's rather like, you know, in the old days we always used to say if you could get 1 million from somebody, that would really, really help. Times have changed, guys. Money's tighter, everything's tighter nowadays. So instead of looking for 1 million from one person, what you've got to look at is 1 million from a million people. So a pound from a million people, and that really helps. And you know, you think, oh well, if I have a coffee night or a coffee morning or a dinner party, it's only 10 quid. guys, that 10 quid, if everybody did it, would get us the new centre inside about 6 months. If you look at all the subscribers we have on YouTube, which is over 400,000, and everybody raised £10, I mean, that's 4 million. I know that's a bit exaggerating, but that's how it works. I mean, you can make a difference. This is why we launched IDOT, doing one thing a day to make a difference. In the UK, if everybody did one thing a day, that would be 1 billion actions a year. It's just enormous. You know, I think we all underestimate our ability. And with the reach of social media nowadays, it gives us that ability to do so much more. But you've got to just believe it. You've got to go with it and trust what this old man is telling you. It will make a difference. £10 from 400,000 subscribers, for instance, would make us £4 million. I would probably have a heart attack, so if you're going to raise it, please give me lots of warning so Laurie can get the defibrillator out and everything ready, because I'm quite obliged to go, ugh, I'm in trouble. But yeah, guys, it does make a difference. So everybody who watched this tonight had a dinner party or a coffee morning and just raised 10 quid. You know, it doesn't need to be massive money, guys. It makes a huge difference collectively, and it is the collective. I think this cure for how we're treating this planet now, I'm hoping the groundswell from the members of the public, from us yokel locals, will start to persuade governments and corporates alike not to be so damn greedy. They all think of their bottom line as the bottom of their balance sheet. Actually, if we don't have a planet, they can throw their balance sheet and their bottom line out the window. We need a planet to survive on. The planet has given us so much over so many centuries. We just need to give a bit back. I'm sad, and you can tell I'm old and cynical now. I talk about grumpy old men, but you know, we're short-sighted, we're greedy, we just do too many things which aren't looking for the good of the whole, and you get more pleasure just giving one little thing back than all the taking you do. It is such a great feeling. Perhaps you only learn that when you're old like me. I mean, that's why we employ Laurie, really. I mean, I get so much pleasure from knowing I'm giving him a job which he would never otherwise get. That's how it works, guys. No, but seriously, sorry, Laurie's probably walked off by now. But yeah, it's the little things from many. And Laurie, to be honest, Laurie's ridiculous. I mean, he does all the social media, then he'll go out all night and do rescues. Then if there's a problem, he'll go and sort that. And, you know, I spotted him. I said, only yesterday we had a problem with a fox escaping. And I said, we must go and fix that, Laurie. And he came back 5 minutes later with a big grin on his face because he's bought himself, believe it or not, a right angle drill. Laurie can only buy this kit because he is insane. So Laurie bought a right angle drill. So you couldn't have mended that, Simon. You couldn't have mended that. I had right angle drill. I went and fixed it. Thank you, Laurie, for fixing that. I'm very grateful, Mr. Brayley.
I don't know how I cope with you.
I don't know how I cope with you. How you can say that. You should feel more sorry for me.
So, a few patient updates. So, in the last one, 2 weeks ago, we mentioned that our fox cubs are actually going for release very soon. Unfortunately, we've had quite a serious heat wave in the UK over the past couple of weeks, and we have had to store that at the moment. But they are due for release. They're hopefully going this Friday. Watch this space, you'll never know. But many of them have actually been here since they were tiny, tiny little cubs. And we had to have orphan feeders feeding them throughout the night, 3 AM, 6 AM. And they've grown up at the centre. They've gone through opening their eyes, they've gone through growing that orange fur, and they're now up at the top of the centre. You should be able to see them if you do look at our webcams, and they will hopefully be set back into the wild this Friday and will enjoy their life of freedom.
So we're going straight off the subject here now, Laurie, because Pushbike Cam wants to give me a hug. Pushbike Cam, you're welcome any time to give me a hug. Hugs are greatly appreciated. And yes, thank you for all the lovely things you all say about us, to be honest. I mean, I'm just a grumpy old man who makes all the others do wonderful things. So I sit here and fall asleep in the afternoons. But no, we do what we do. We love what we do. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I will moan about it every day. Every day I will whinge about it. And the next day I'll be back there in there asking for more.
We've actually had quite an unusual patient in the past couple of weeks as well. So this is a crossbill, and it almost looks like the beak is overgrown, but that is exactly how it is meant to be. It arrived here in quite a weak state. It took a couple of weeks for us to sort of get it back to health, but it's grown up with some of our other garden birds and actually was released into a rather beautiful pine forest just a week or so ago. So that's one of our more unusual patients. We do get some slightly unusual patients here. We've had otters over the years, not usually common here in Surrey. We've had Manx shearwaters that tend to get blown off course. We've had a few very unusual, we got cormorants are not massively common, but we do get those in as well. We've had guillemots, razorbills. Can you think of any other really quite unusual one? We've had an eagle owl, I know that one.
We get lots of stuff, Laurie, I'm going to suggest something now. I'm going to suggest, because we're getting quite well on, and Lou gets very upset if we don't show the video early-ish on, why don't we break and you can show them the video, which is me when I was looking young with hair. And then we'll come back into it after you've shown it. Are you ready to do that?
Yep, that's fine.
Laurie's like a Boy Scout, he's always prepared. Actually, I think Laurie should have been a girl guide, really, but never mind.
I was a scout many years ago.
I'm going to say nothing to that, Laurie. I could think of so many comments, but I won't.
So this is one of Simon's very first bird of prey in warehouse rescues, long before we had the double pinch method. So this is how we got it last time.
This is a rescuer's nightmare. A building 4 stories high and no stairs. A little owl had somehow flown into this wine warehouse and seemed very reluctant to leave.
Hello, Wal. Coming down to see Daddy.
I increasingly worry about my fast-growing senility. In moments of pure helplessness, I manage to say the most absurd things.
If we can get him to fly down, Jan, we'll have another net with us. If I get him to sort of start to come down, we'll try to get you to net him quick.
I had absolutely no idea how I was going to catch this bird, but I was determined to help it.
We spotted him about 2 days ago, and when we were about to look up, he was up on one of the beams. The sparrows we've had in, and the pigeons we've had in, they tend to find their own way out, but he hasn't found his way out. He's been in the same area for 2 days.
Where's he gone?
With unusual forward-thinkingness, I had bought 3 long lengths of drain pipe. Quite why, I don't know.
This is called quick thinking invention. Oh, where is he? Oh, you couldn't get much higher, could you, sweetheart? Well done, jolly good. Oh, let's get yours.
I'm not sure what was going through my mind at this stage, but for some unknown reason, I thought I might be in with a chance if I could climb up the racking towards him.
Are you strong enough to stand on?
Yeah.
This too was another crazy idea, as I can't stand heights. The owl must have felt very safe, as he wasn't even bothering to look at me. But without really knowing exactly where the owl was, I lifted the net as high as I could reach, and was absolutely dumbfounded at what happened next. I couldn't believe it. At last we had him.
Make sure it doesn't fly out of that, Jack. I hate heights. Well, that was a bit of luck, wasn't it?
As soon as Jan could safely lift him out of the net, I was concerned to see what sort of condition he was in.
Did you feel thin?
Bit, yeah.
What are you doing, silly wall? We'll take him back and feed him up anyway in this weather, because he needs to be nice and fat, and then we'll release him around here again in 4 or 5 days' time, I hope. Very lucky.
It wasn't. It was absolutely brilliant. Well done.
We received the owl, the little owl from Denby's here, the wine people. It was found in their barn and slightly underweight. 150 grams is enough for one of these birds to be put in the wild. This one is actually 180 grams now, and we're now letting it free. Looks like a good area here. Should be an abundance of its natural food. There's plenty of cover all around here as well. I think we'll let him go. And this was the sort of area he originally came from. Come on then, little one. Go on then, mate. Freedom for you. Yes, go on then. Lovely. It's great to watch them go off after you've worked with them.
We're back. See, that was my announcement. We're back. I promised one particular member that we would blow that. No, I can't feel my lips at all. So I've blown that. I've blown Laurie's and Abby's eardrums out. They can't hear anything now. So that's really brilliant. I'll put that down. I will one day, guys. I'll play the trumpet, but I do need to practice if I'm going to do that. So yeah, that was quite an interesting rescue. Long time ago. Apparently, Laurie says we've got loads of questions stacked up. So Laurie, let's do quick fire answers. They're going to be very brief answers. Just fire them at me and I'll answer them. Try and answer them in a sentence. Off you go, okay. Laurie. Your time starts now.
So, Scottish Astronomer has asked, what should we do for animals after the heavy rain that has recently fallen?
Okay, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's not enough rain to make any difference. And I think I always say to everybody, oh, it's rain now, we don't need to worry. If you take your spade out and you dig into your lawn, I guarantee, even if you get an hour of rain, you'll go down less than a centimetre before you hit solid earth. So the rain we're getting at the moment, especially in the southeast, is nothing, guys. It makes no difference. So just keep putting water bowls out, don't stop. Next question.
A couple of people are asking, why are so many pigeons sort of falling dead out of trees recently?
We're getting a lot of that. I've had several calls today, actually, and several emails today straight into my email saying they found a bird, it just fell out of a tree. They are dying from heat stroke. I mean, it does happen. Animals can't sweat like we do. Birds put their wings out to take some, to try to cool themselves off. Dogs just can pant, but it's not enough. If you can't, this is why dogs, you have to be careful with your pets in this weather, because they pant, but if they're not dispelling the heat quickly enough, they're going to die. So I'm afraid they're dying of heat stroke, and it does happen when we get weather like this. Such as fish. I mean, we've had oxygen lag. I was bleating on about oxygen lag last night, I think. With not too much air, the water gets very algified. You get big build-ups of algae, and fish die as well. So they need the cool, and they're going to die from it. You will get it happen. If you get one that falls out of a tree and doesn't look too bad, just get it somewhere cool very quickly. Try to offer it a little bit of water. Just put some water around its beak. It might bring it back, but a lot of animals are dying like that. Next question.
Miss Rudim has asked, at what age do you start to worry about capture myopathy in deer? We recently rescued a young deer without a single word about it, yet we usually really worry about it with adults.
Roe deer particularly are very bad or very prone to capture myopathy. It doesn't matter how young it is. Obviously very, very young, you've probably got a few months before you start to worry about it, but much after that, like now, we worry about capture myopathy in roe deer from the start. Next question. It's like Celebrity Mastermind, isn't it? I'd win my selected topic.
Fanatics has asked, have we ever rescued a Canada goose?
Something like 700,022,000. Yeah, we do. We rescue Canada geese all the time. They get fishing wire around them. Or fishing wire. Everybody calls it wire. It's fishing line around them. We get a lot of instances like that. And you get the odd idiot who will tie two Canada geese together with a piece of fishing line or a bit of string and watch them just pull their necks to bits. So we do get that as well. Sadly, people aren't always nice. It's like trophy hunting. We can't go into that now. I get into a lot of trouble, but heavens above, I wish I could cure that overnight. I could cure it overnight, but I'd be in prison very quickly. Next question.
For those of you wondering as well, all Canada goose are treated and rescued under licence. There is a bit of a controversy there, but all rescues were licensed. Flutterby0704 has asked, have we ever had a hummingbird?
I haven't got those in the UK, guys.
Them. No, we don't.
We've got hummingbird moths in the UK, I think. I believe we've got hummingbird moths, but we haven't had. We don't have hummingbirds. I love hummingbirds. I love them. Whenever I go on holiday, which is very rarely, I always sit and watch the hummingbirds. They absolutely fascinate me. They're very tiny and they stay absolutely still. Although they're flying, they just don't move at all. Beautiful birds, like all creatures. Everything's beautiful apart from mankind. But we won't go there, Laurie, will we? Next question.
Rebecca Rabbit 32 has asked, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made on a rescue?
What's the what? Sorry, say that again.
The biggest mistake you've ever made on a rescue.
taking Laurie.
I knew that
had
was
to get
coming.
that in. You knew it was there.
I could have held up a note with that on it.
I don't think we've made, to be honest, and I know it sounds terribly, terribly immodest, I don't think we've ever made any massive mistakes on a rescue where something died because we got it wrong or it escaped because we couldn't have stopped it. It's terribly modest to say this. I don't think we have. I'm sure somebody can prove me wrong from the SOS days, but I can't think of one. I will keep racking my brain for it, but I don't think we have. Next question.
Flutterby0704 is put, can you elaborate more on your total capacity? How many animals could we have in at the centre at any one point?
We got very close to it this year. We've been at a point where Naomi was saying can't take any more of those, can't take any more of those. It doesn't go on for long, but for instance, if we suddenly get about 200 ducklings in, we don't have the space to take them in, but they will soon move on to somewhere else and then we can take more in. So we have got to capacity a couple of times this year. We did have, I think, a few days when we had to stop taking fox cubs, a few days when we had to stop taking ducklings, but it literally a matter of days before we can move things around. Naomi is a bit of a magician. She has to juggle things so we can keep things in. We've never got seriously stuck with these things before. We have built 2 extra housing units up at the top last year, so we can take more in now, and all these housing units we build are multi-purpose. So 1 minute or 1 month they might have hedgehogs in, the next minute ducklings. They're all multi-purpose, so we can take pens out, build different sorts of pens, put different shelves up. We are very ambidextrous here. That's a big word for me on a Wednesday night. Next question.
Hatsune Miku has asked, are barn owls the same as they get in Nova Scotia, and do we rescue barn owls here in the UK?
We had a barn owl the other day, didn't we, Laurie?
We did, yeah. Unfortunately,
I don't think it was a nice ending, was it?
No, it'd been hit by a car and the leg was just turned to dust, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That wasn't a happy one. But we do rescue them. We do have videos on the channel of returning barn owl chicks to nests and rescuing barn owls. They're not the most common patient we get in here. We tend to get tawny owls rather than barn owls.
That's
but we
there's
do
far,
get
there's
a
far
number
more
every
tawny
year.
owls around than barn owls. I mean, barn owls did get to very dangerous levels a few years ago. Luckily, because of all the captive breeding schemes we've had, you know, they've managed to get the population back up. But they're still not free from trouble. It's like we now have hedgehogs who are on the red list for possible extinction. And personally, I don't think hedgehogs will become extinct in the UK. I think we'll have urban extinction without any doubt, and that could happen quite soon. But I think there's enough green space out there. If you ever fly over the UK in a plane on your holiday or something, look down, there's lots of areas around. I don't think they'll become extinct, but we need to protect it all. We need to sort of get what we've got and try to keep it safe, to be honest. Give me another one, Laurie.
A few donations have come in over the past couple of minutes, so we'll just run through those. Per Bjork has donated 50 Swedish krona. Thank you very much for that one, that's very kind. Biscay08 has donated 250 Swedish kronas, but thank you for all you do. I have a water bowl on my balcony and have loads of sparrows drinking from it. Good to think of now in this heat wave. It's simple and it helps the birds. That's a fantastic idea.
I think for the next YouTube, Laurie, I want you to give me a conversion chart for all the currencies we get, because I have no idea what that's worth. I have no idea, krona and all these other currencies. Yeah, I need to be able to say. I say, oh, they've given us 1 penny, and then I can have a moan. Or they've given us £100. That's quite good. Yeah, so yeah, we'll do that next time.
250 is £17.
That's good enough for me, Laurie. Good enough for me. That pays your salary for at least 6 months.
Right,
next question. Fire away.
Has donated £10 and has put, love the work you guys do. Thank you very much. Mara Kinghorn, who is one of our volunteers and has actually just passed her 100th rodent she's helped this year at the centre.
Laurie, you should have really thought what you before you said that sentence. You should have really thought what you were going to say. I'll leave you to work it out, Laurie. But you know, Mara,
I can't remember what I said.
I feel for you having passed your 100th rodent, but thank you for looking after for so many rodents. That's really kind of you, Mara. Thank you.
You are a child. You are a child.
Go on, give me another question. It's
currently
quick fire round.
Scottish Astronomer's donated £25 and has put, hope this helps towards the hedgehog food bill. Your job is still harder than rocket science. Contest that, but thank you very, very much. And Linda Fuchs has donated 100 Danish krona and has put, keep up the good work. Have you ever had an albino or melanistic animal come in?
Oh, loads. We've had hedgehogs, we've had badgers, we've had squirrels, I'm trying to think of. We've had the odd bird. Yeah, we do get them. They're quite rare. I mean, hedgehogs are quite rare to get the albino ones in and the melanistic ones in, but we do get them. Rabbits we have in. We get black rabbits and all sorts of other things. So yes, we do is the answer. Next question.
Not me is actually asked, want to tell us the story of how Laurie joined and somehow ended up being the social media / tree climbing / editor / cameraman / goose bag caddy.
It's quite easy. His mother for many months had been trying to get rid of Laurie. She couldn't work out how she could get him out the house, how she could make him get a real job. So she came to me. She paid me an awful lot of money to take him on, and I'm still living on that. I mean, it's still the money that his mum's giving us now that makes me keep Laurie on. So no, he came in as a volunteer. I don't know quite how he got to the subject of editing and doing all sorts of things, but he came in from knowing very little about it. He's got degrees in all the wrong things. Not much use here, but he's been. I don't want to say. Laurie, can you just block your ears for 1 second? Put your fingers in your ears, Laurie.
Hang on, I'll take the headphones out.
Okay, he's a godsend to me. I mean, he does a lot of things I can't do anymore. He's always there. He never says no. And without him, I would be absolutely screwed, to be honest, guys. So as much as I take the you-know-what out of him, I mean, without him, I'd be absolutely stuffed. I do think, actually, it worries me that because Laurie bought a defibrillator a while ago, said it was for if anybody here had trouble. I think he's terrified that I might die, and he wants to make sure he can try to get me back. Right, Laurie, can come back on phones now, Laurie.
Back on now, you say.
You can get back on now, Laurie. Are you with us
Hello.
again?
I'm back
Laurie's
in the
back.
room.
Okay, Laurie's back in the room.
So
Give me another
a few
question.
more questions. Jenna has asked, have we ever rescued an animal that wasn't native to the UK?
Yeah, quite a few times, to be honest. I mean, we've rescued pet snakes, we've rescued iguanas because nobody would go out for it. We try not to be honest. This is why when we started WildlifeAid, we said to ourselves we've got to be very strict, otherwise we'll diversify off in a million things, and I think you should do one thing well rather than 10 things badly. So, instead of taking domestics and wildlife, which would have been a nightmare, we said we will concentrate on wildlife, and that's what we've done. But we do occasionally, when nobody else will go out and people are pulling their hair out, you can see I pulled mine out a lot of times, we do go out and rescue other things as well. So the answer to that is yes. Next question.
A few people as well have been asking for an update on one of the owls that we posted a video about a couple of weeks ago, which was a young tawny owl that had a beak repair. So Mara, our vet, actually fixed it in place with a special dental acrylic that is used in human dentistry, and we are amazed to say that it's actually made a really good recovery on that one. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to?
You can talk about that because hopefully it will go out probably towards the end of this month with our 11. What have we got? 11 hours or 12 hours up there at the moment?
12, I think now. 12,
I think. Yeah. So no, it will go out quick. This does feel quick fire tonight, Laurie, doesn't it? I'm dry as what's it? It seems like it's ridiculous speed. I hope everybody's happy. If you think this is too fast, guys, just tell us and we'll slow it down next time. But there are so many questions coming in, and Laurie's trying to answer what he can, but it's always a struggle. But if you think it's all too fast, tell us. And if you think we should take a 6-month break, that's absolutely fine.
So for that owl, it is currently up on, if any of you watch our webcams, if you look at our owl webcam, it is actually one of those birds. So it's been with us now for quite a few months. The beak is healed absolutely perfectly, and they are due for release within the next couple of weeks. So that owl will be heading back to the wild, hopefully at that point, and we should film it and bring it to you as a final update about what's been happening over the past couple of months. So stay tuned for that one, but he is still doing very well.
Cool. Keep going, Laurie.
A few people asking, do we ever rescue insects?
I think we have. I mean, I don't, obviously, to be honest nowadays, I can't keep up with everything rescuing. I have screens here and I can watch what's going on and interfere and stick my oar in when I feel like it. But I think we have had insects in. I think we've had worms in. We've had all sorts of things in over the years. I think if a child brings something in that's very small, we will always do our best for it, as we will with any wild animal. But sometimes you can't do quite so much for insects as you can do for the larger animals.
We've actually had a stag beetle in at one point, and a dragonfly that I believe was released around your pond. So certainly.
Apparently, we're not going too fast, Laurie. So I should even speak even quicker. I should become an auctioneer with my auctioneer talk, shouldn't I? And I'll keep blowing the horn. Every time we get an auction item off, I'll blow the horn.
Maya has asked, have we ever rescued a kingfisher? One of my favourite birds, actually.
They're beautiful. If you ever see one in the wild, you see it for about 2 milliseconds while it flies past your eye line. You just see a flash of this brilliant blue and an array of blues at that, and you see them flying down the river. We've actually got 5 or 6 kingfishers down at our new site on 20 acres, and they actually nest in the bank down there as well. And I'm really looking forward to getting down there, spending a bit of time so we can put some cameras up and watch them, because they're beautiful birds. Very stressed birds, rather like woodpeckers. They get quite stressed as well, so we have to be really careful with them and not get them too stressed. But beautiful birds. Everything's beautiful. No, I'm not going to say I'm including you, Laurie. I'll say it to Abby, but I won't say it to you, Laurie. Sorry, that's going too far.
I'm concerned. We need to have words.
I'm concerned as well.
Foxy Wild is put, hi, love the channel, thank you very, very much. Noticed you do a lot of work with badgers. How many do you think you've saved over time?
I have absolutely no idea. In point of fact, at my age, I have no memory at all. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. But it's got to be probably thousands over the years. If you think we normally take 20 badgers or more through as babies, that's 40 years of that. Plus all the adults we get in, like we've got one in there tonight. I can see it in there now. You know, yeah, a lot. Let's not worry about quantity. Let's just do what we do well, and we'll keep cracking on.
Last couple of questions here, because we are expecting that badger any minute now, so we will have to go for that one when it does come in. Pushback cam. I rescued a gull from work that got stuck inside. If birds have their heads down and or moving side to side, does that mean they're in shock?
I didn't hear that question very much, Laurie, so I'm going to ask you to answer it.
So it depends. Obviously we can't necessarily diagnose anything from an image or anything like that, but birds that have their heads down, or especially to one side, that's usually a sign that something isn't quite right, whether it's neurological or whether it's something to do with their balance. But it's always worth monitoring just to make sure. Some birds do hold their heads in a very odd place, especially when they're asleep or they're resting. So if you are worried about that, please just sort of monitor it for a bit, and if there are any issues, contact a wildlife rescue centre, and they should be able to help further on there.
Laurie, while you're talking about it, I think we should send a doctor out to Christy Bartholomew, because she says she's got a mad crush on Laurie, but he's too young. So there you are. You have got your one fan, Laurie. I know you were working up for this. For years you've been working up to this. So, Laurie, Christy, he's all yours.
Many people have been saying I'm a clone of you recently. We're not actually related. We're not related at all. I didn't know him up until about 5 years ago.
But yeah, Laurie, have you ever had a DNA test? You never know what your mummy and I might have got up to years ago.
You are a disgusting human being.
You could be really scared. Wouldn't it be funny actually if you had a DNA test and it was... Oh yes, too scary. I can't go there. It's making me go in a hot sweat. Go on, off you go,
donations, Laurie. A few people have been donating through the website as well, so thank you very much.
Hang on, Laurie, stop there a minute. Laurie sounds just like Simon now. All the same expressions. Oh,
I need to change that.
Yeah. What are you all doing in that laboratory of yours? You'd be surprised, young lady, what we're doing in our laboratory. It could be very scary.
You are the textbook definition of mad scientist. I heard that from the other room, by the way. So Littleman787 has donated £5 to us as well, so huge thank you for that one.
It's all go, we're cracking on with...
So the badger has just arrived, so we are going to have to wrap this one up in a couple of questions. They do need help moving it, so unfortunately we're going to have to call an end to this one and run up to help that one. But a huge thank you to every single one of you that has helped out, has donated to our hedgehog appeal, has asked us any questions on there. That is an absolute massive help. We really appreciate your support. As we say all the time, we do not get any sort of government or corporate funding at all. We do rely entirely on the generosity of people like you. So we really do appreciate your feedback. And would you like to say anything before we sign off?
Yeah, I'm not going to let you finish off tonight. This is my turn. So I've got my mentions at the end here. So we need to mention about water for animals, water and food, but particularly keep an eye open. If you see anything you think might be in trouble, ring a wildlife centre and speak to them, because they will give you good advice. Our 2021 calendar has gone out to print. For pity's sake, somebody buy it, or Laurie will cry, because they're all his photographs. and I've been trying for so long to teach him to take photos in focus. He will get there by 2025, I'm sure, because I'll have to teach him a bit more. But honestly, Guy, great calendar. It's going to print now. Let's see if we can get rid of them. We've done our thank you to Myra, although you did get it very, very badly wrong, Laurie, because we said here Myra has cared for over 100 rodents. Not yeah, we won't go there again. And again, always, as always, for us to be honest, thank you guys. I'm sorry we keep harping on about money, but it keeps us going and allows us to do more. But it's our volunteers who actually deserve the biggest thank you, along with Alice and all the others, because without them we would not be functioning, we would not be able to be nearly as effective as we are today. So guys, you're all stars, thank you so much. And Abby escaped yet again, appearing on screen.
My evil plan
And
worked.
for those of you who are wondering and want to buy the calendar, most of the photos in it were actually taken by Abby, so don't worry, they will be in focus.
I
and on that
don't know how
note,
to
we do
answer
need
that.
to go.
I'm gobsmacked. I'm smacked of the gob. Everybody, thank you so much. We will be back in 2 weeks, as we always are. And thank you so much for following us. Keep spreading the words. If everybody watching tonight could just get 2 friends to watch and tell them to get 2 friends to watch, we could actually improve the number of people who view this sort of live chat, and we can spread the word. If we can spread awareness, if we can spread the word, if we can get everybody excited about the need to save wildlife and therefore save habitat, it would be a better world. So guys, this is Simon Cowell, as old as he is, signing off, and I bet Laurie gets the last word.